Okay.
Yeah, so we're getting combobulated. Welcome, everyone. People will be trickling in a little bit. Yes. Yes. Yay.
Have a sip of water while we let everybody get all the way in. And yeah, excellent. Okay, so welcome everyone back to Collection Spotlight. We had a little bit of a holiday winter break, but we're very excited to be back with you all today and thrilled to be able to continue sharing these fabulous conversations. I'm Bess Murphy. I'm the curator and creative director at the Coe Center for the Arts in Santa Fe. And I guess I will serve today as the hands on site at the Coe here in person. I hope that as things hopefully continue to improve, folks can come over and spend some time in the collection in person if you're in Santa Fe or traveling through. I'm going to pass it on to Rachel Wixom, who's our executive director.
Welcome and Happy New Year, everyone. I hope everyone's well and your families are all well and enjoying the new year. I can't believe it's almost February. I wish there was a pause button so we could slow the world down. It's been awfully busy around here, at least. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of background to the Coe in the form of our mission, which is the Coe explores and connects through experiencing the world's Indigenous arts. The Coe creates awareness, education, and appreciation of Indigenous arts. We connect people and art through inclusive hands-on experiential learning and partnering. In this, we responsibly steward a diverse and eclectic collection of world Indigenous art that supports community narratives. And this collection that you'll be seeing a part of today is the beginning, the middle, and the end of all that we do. All that we do here is connected to that collection. So I do hope one day you might have the chance to come visit us. And I will keep it short and I'll let America take it over.
Yeah. So I'm America Meredith, coming to you from Norman, Oklahoma, ancestral homeland of the Wichita and affiliated tribes. And I do First American Art Magazine. I'm the publishing editor and some of our writers are on. That's exciting. But we try to cover everything. We try to cover North and South America, historical and contemporary. And this program's really lovely because it showcases how living artists today are so keenly knowledgeable about the historic artworks in museum collections. So I'm really happy to introduce you to Mary Youngbear, who's Meskwaki. She's coming to us from Tama, Iowa, I believe. Is that correct, Mary?
Tama. You're
Tama, thank you. Yeah, feel free to correct me on anything, but Tama. So I'm really fascinated because the prairie tribes tend to get neglected because you guys are kind of in between different regions, but you're a beadwork artist. She is the outreach officer of the Meskwaki Cultural Center and Museum. So that's something to consider if you're going through Iowa to go visit. She makes dance regalia, ceremonial items, even funerary items for her tribe, and also for adoption ceremonies within her tribe. She's self-taught. She's been working for quite a while. She also dances at powwow. So that's really what motivated her to get into beadwork. And she had to learn through trial and error. So that's one way to really stick it into your head. But she's particularly been interested in revitalization of Meskwaki clothing, you know, this historic clothing. And it's really exciting that the Coe has a pretty fantastic collection of Meskwaki artwork. So I really apologize. I do tend to stumble over my words, but welcome, Mary. And everyone, you're welcome to put questions in the chat anytime through the conversation. At the end, this is usually a pretty intimate group and people are cool. So we allow people to unmute themselves at the end and you can have a little conversation directly with the artists. So welcome, Mary.
Hello. My name is Mary Youngbear. My Meskwaki name is Bunabik, and I'm a member of the Bear Clan. I've been creating beadwork, mostly beadwork, since I was about 8 years old. So that's kind of a long time. And most of it is like America mentioned, is trial and error. And I've learned a few things along the way, and I have an appreciation for the items that were made historically by the Meskwaki people. And working in the museum has enabled me an education in all things Meskwaki. And some of the things I'm going to talk about are things that I've recently learned about that I had no prior knowledge of. And one of the things will be the weaving, basswood mats or bags, cattail mats. Those are things that were lost, forgotten. I would just say they were forgotten by the tribe. There's nothing written down. We don't know why or how they were forgotten. I can only guess that it was modern living in frame houses opposed to living in wickiups, working in town, working outside of the Meskwaki settlement. All of these things, having electricity, running water, these are things that we weren't used to. Even when I first moved here in 1979, we lived in a 2-room house that didn't have running water, and it had electricity, but there was no indoor plumbing. So the transition has been extreme. And so all of these things that I've learned while living here are fairly new to me. And I feel really fortunate that I was given an opportunity to work in our museum, which is about 10 years old. Before that, things were stored in boxes in a building away from the tribal center. And so having a place to facilitate our objects and take care of them and protect them for our future tribal members is really important. And I feel lucky to be here. I'm not a trained museum professional, but I consider myself more of a caretaker of all of our tribal objects. I see and I appreciate all of the work that went into making these objects. Everything from beaded items to shirts and skirts and moccasins and everything in between, all the carvings. There's so much that that is connected to our community. And I would like to preserve as much as possible and share as much as possible, not only with the people and especially the youth in our community, but to those outside so that it can be appreciated and so that people will know how significant and how important it is. And the Meskwaki people are the only recognized tribe in the state of Iowa. And I'm sure a lot of people are not even aware that there is a tribe in Iowa. And we came to Iowa the long way. We started out on the northern East Coast and migrated through years, hundreds of years. And through war, through whatever this tribe was going through, we ended up here. And we purchased 80 acres in 1836, I believe. And that's how this became our permanent home. And so everything that we have now revolves around our environment, the environment that's here, which is similar to everywhere else we've lived in the past. And so that's where I'm coming from. And I thank you for the invitation to talk about the items you have in your collection that are related to the Meskwaki people. And let's go with the first item.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. So here we go. And I don't know, America, if you want to spotlight me for a little bit so I can show these. So this is a pair of moccasins. They're dated probably around 1880 is what we have. And we don't have, I think you have the information also, Mary, but I think there's some conversation that we can have in terms of the attribution. And I love being able to show you some of this beadwork up close. And just tell me where you want me to go with this.
Well, one thing I would like for you to do is lift up, if you can, lift up one of the flaps.
And if you can go a little slower, the beads are strobing.
Is it? Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just was interested in looking at the stitching, and it's really gorgeous. Usually this was done with the beads laid down flat, and then they sew them down maybe like every 2 beads.
Mm.
And that method is still used quite a bit. And when I was reading the information about these moccasins, it said that they were made to be worn by a man, which contradicts what we do here in our tribe. I don't believe I've ever seen a man wear this type of moccasin with the beaded, we call them ears, the flaps that lay on the side of the moccasin. So I'm not too sure about that. And if that's,
I think I would probably err towards your your understanding, Mary, rather than perhaps what we have in our records. I think.
And I'm pretty sure that anybody else that's familiar with this style would agree that they were worn by women, girls and women.
Mm-hmm.
And the moccasin is one whole piece, which is sewn up the middle of the top. And I have a moccasin here from our collection, and I can show you. I don't know if you can see it.
No, if you can lift it up a little bit.
Yeah, right in front of your face and just go nice. Yeah, it's strange.
Okay.
Oh,
and you'll notice that these, we call them ears. Let's see, here we go.
Yeah, you can back away.
Oh, wow.
That is wild.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
The sides always contrast. They never match. I've never seen any that matched anyway. I'm sure somebody's done it, but I haven't seen it. And the gathers on the top are covered with this separate beaded piece. And all of these are removable. You can use them on another pair when, as you can see, you wear out the soles. you can't repair them any longer.
And that's still the soft deer hide on the bottom where they added it? It's not rawhide?
No, this is all one piece, and it's a smoked deer hide. So it's all one piece, so you'll see. And the pattern resembles a cowboy hat. That's what they call them. But yeah, this is a really gorgeous example here.
Amazing.
So those designs on the, what you call the ears, I mean, they're botanical, but I've also heard those designs kind of connected to antlers, like animal antlers.
No, no,
Okay.
these are all organic forms.
Okay.
Meskwaki designs usually don't replicate actual plants or leaves, you know, anything like that. It's very rare that you're going to see anything that is looks real.
Okay.
And so these are just organic forms. And that is really indicative of a Meskwaki design. And I do have this. This is what they look like, plain. And you'll see the center gather on top.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, we usually call that pucker toe. Do you use
Yeah.
that term or?
I just say gathers, but yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I've read too, pucker toe. And this is a real, you know, this is a Meskwaki moccasin here. And these are worn mostly for ceremony. They're worn for powwows. It's not something that we're gonna wear every day. And for that, I brought this little example. This is called a bugiani. And these were what they wore every day. It has a hard leather sole, and the top part is a canvas.
Oh,
Canvas, it could
cool.
be denim. So
Oh,
these were worn every day, like, you know, just to work in. And this is a real tiny one.
It's
so cute.
fabulous.
Yeah, you can see that whole horn right through it.
And these are significant too, because this goes along with a teaching that we have for baby moccasins. Whenever we make baby moccasins, we purposely put a hole in the bottom.
Oh,
And that's because we're told that visitors come to see the baby, people that have passed on, and they might really love this baby, and they're attracted to this baby, and they want that baby to just go with them, and they'll try to entice them, come with me, and you know, where I'm from. And that baby can say, I can't go because I have a hole in my moccasin. So that's the teaching behind that.
Wow.
And I remember once when I was just like maybe 16, 17, somebody asked me to make some baby moccasins. And they said, be sure to put the holes in them. And so what I did, the whole bottom of the baby moccasin was covered with holes.
like Swiss cheese.
So, you know, this is what we wear day to day. And, you know, we can beat them up as much as we want, but these are reserved for ceremonies or powwows. And that's a difference. And so as far as the moccasin you have, I believe it's going to be a man or a woman's, not a man's.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have this as perhaps being Sac and Fox as opposed to Meskwaki. And I
From
think if we're gonna,
Oklahoma?
well, yeah, Sac and Fox of Oklahoma. But I don't know if you had thoughts on that. I think when we were talking the other day, you were sort of touching on that a little bit, but
Well, I just think it's a really beautiful piece of work.
yeah.
And it could be Sac and
Yeah.
Fox from Oklahoma. The top part, the beaded part that covers the center is a little bit wide for what you saw from my example.
Mhm.
And I haven't really seen anything here, no examples of them making them that wide.
Hmm.
So it's possible.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful piece of work
They're
for a
so
man or
small.
woman.
Yeah, I think you're right. They're also relatively small.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not tiny, but yeah. So, sort of
Okay.
hard to capture scale.
I
next to
know.
my
I
head,
know.
like on the screen.
Like that was a little man.
Well, it said, yeah, that it's 9 inches and
Yeah.
3/4 across. So that's not like giant for a woman.
No, exactly. I think that seems like it seems like a woman's size.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. Let's go to the basswood bags.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna go grab something.
Yeah.
And I noticed we have Renee Dillard in the audience. So if you want to say anything about basswood bags, because I know you've been working to revive basswood. So I don't know if
Yeah,
you want
this
to be
is
put on the spot.
relatively new for us. And I would like to mention Renee Dillard as being very instrumental in bringing this, helping us bring this back to the Meskwaki people and all of the protocols that go with it. They mirror the things that we do here. There's always prayer before you start, an offering of tobacco, being grateful for having this, having the things to work with. And so I look at this and I see that it mirrors what we have in our collection. The things that we have are so old though that, I hate to bring them out. They're in storage. And this is something that was lost. I don't know why. I mentioned it before. And the women in our tribe used to make these for storage, to complement their wardrobe. They were practical items, and they made them their own by incorporating the designs and knowing how to work with plant dyes. And for whatever reason, we haven't had that here for over 50 years, maybe longer. And
What's super nice about that, hi Mary, honey. What's super nice about that mat or that bag, if I could say, is that it's a seamless bag, which means it started at the very bottom. And then you can see the shape as it comes up, they increase by a row for 5 or 6 rows. And then it's a coil twining type of weave. And her manipulation of the color inside of there is just by twisting it, and it comes forward or goes backwards. It's a whole bundle. It's absolutely fabulous. We call them here in Michigan, Odawa and Dao. I'm Ottawa. We call them utility bags. And they could have anything from more bladder bags inside of there full of quills or patterns of birch bark, or, just lots of opportunity to store your stuff inside of there. And of course, the colors will clue you in on what was the use for it. I love the selvage edge at the top where she braided it. All of those salvage edges that are done, they'll be done the same way in the same area. And then you go to one village over and they're done a different way. So it looks like they're passed down from mother to daughter. It's absolutely, the Meskwaki are some of the best weavers ever. I went there and I saw them. I got to step foot on the land that Mrs. Bill Leaf stepped on, and Mary Neal and these famous weavers. It was quite the visit. Thank you.
Thank
you, Renee. And I couldn't have spoken about that bag better than Renee, because she's the expert. She was our teacher, and she is so gracious to share her knowledge with us. I can't wait to go back. I just want to cry. But you have all been honored by her knowledge today. Thank you, Renee.
Yeah.
I'll see you soon.
Yeah, I hope so. soon as the sickness is done, we're all in.
Yeah, yeah. And I wanted to share this little gem.
Oh.
Isn't that gorgeous? This is a twine bag that was given to me. And it was, I don't even know who made it, but this is similar to the bags that they made for what Renee was talking about, utilitarian purposes. And this is like,
That side is water.
mhm,
The other side will be, there it is.
yep.
That's the, oh, beautiful.
Isn't it? And
That
it's
is
got
the same technique as the other bag, but this one is called alternate space twine. That phrase was coined by, I'll remember her name. She's in Ottawa. She's a weaving authority on historical weaving. I forget her name, but it's twining with alternate space twining. So there's two colors and they bring one color forward and the other back to make designs on it. You can only do two colors at a time. So the colors will go downward on these types of bags. And then later with yarn bags, the color will be in the left, not the warp. So very
this
nice.
little- oh, I'm sorry. This little bag, is it also basswood?
That
twine.
is yarn.
Oh, okay. So that's a good way for people to keep the twining ability up.
Mhm.
Probably.
Basswood, it's really intensive, right? Don't you sink it into the water and red it for weeks and it goes through that chemical process?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
It might be, I can't tell. It looks like it's yarn, but it could be yarn and basswood.
I
Because the
think
sides,
it's just yarn or twine, just
Yeah.
commercial, it's a commercial product.
oh, is it?
Yeah.
And so they started doing those a lot more in the 1800s when more yarns and stuff became available. But very nice. And of course, you can see where it was tied shut.
Mm-hmm.
So it's likely that it had medicine or something special in it that was stored in another bag, that was part of another bag. So a lot of times you see a bigger bag like that out of yarn, they call them midwife bags. That's what the women would carry to when you gotta go welcome in that new life. That is fantastic. That's a beautiful piece, Mary.
You're gonna have to come over and
Oh,
talk
I would
about
love to visit. I would love to visit. Oh,
Good.
All right. And then I think we're gonna move on to let's talk about the knife sheath a little bit.
Woohoo.
Perfect.
And we get to see the other side.
Yes.
Well, I did see
Well,
the other side.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to, yeah.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything to see.
Oh.
So surprised.
I was really surprised and a little bit sad, but I was still, I thought it was a beautiful, beautiful piece of work. I believe this was all done on a loom, the beadwork
wow.
part.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna take the knife out because it's easier for
Okay.
me to hold the sheath without the knife in it. So
And I know there's no tribe actually attributed to this work, but it does mirror some of the things that we have in our tribe as well. The repetitive design element and the underwater panther, but we wouldn't use just the underwater panther without having the thunderbird and in some part, represented. It's not something that we would do just by itself, not that I know of. But I think it's a really beautiful piece. So I'm not too sure if this is really Meskwaki, as much as I would love to claim it.
if the thunder were on the other side, you'd be like, okay, it's ours.
Yeah, I would say,
You're
yep,
like, I don't know about this one.
ship it over now.
Might have been made for cameras.
Yeah.
But I really
Um,
love it.
Thanks, America, for typing that in. So yeah,
Oh,
around
sure.
1860s.
And then I was surprised to see that they used actual sinew on it. Is that in the interior with the hide? Like, is it better to use sinew on hide?
I think it is.
Mm,
Okay.
And, you know, a lot of it is just what was available at the time. Sinew might have been more accessible than commercial thread for some people.
Yeah, because this is 1860, so this
Mhm.
is a really
Yeah.
early piece.
You know, anything commercial would have been a luxury.
But it's crazy to think that's from 1860 and look at those colors. They look like they're today. They look so fresh.
I just wonder where they got that green and orange.
orange,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. I won't go too
It's
fast.
beautiful.
But
And
it's
I
great
just
because the
wonder-
orange looks like copper. Sorry.
Yeah, I wonder if there was some fading of that color.
Hmm.
Could be, but and then it looks like they maybe used black thread on the loom
Yeah,
part too.
There is, yeah.
And that
and-
can change the appearance of work using a different color thread.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it when they use red thread, like especially this is some Potawatomi here, and then it just totally changes the whole effect of the piece.
Yeah, we have some pieces here that I think armbands, leg bands that were made with loom that had red thread on it. So it does change the colors. And I wanted to share this little piece, this necklace that was made by my son, which he incorporated
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
the Thunderbird and the underwater panther. And he's got blue and red, which represents the Drum Dance Society.
Hmm.
And that's how this entity is represented in our tribe. And it could be in beadwork, it could be in some of our weavings, wherever the Thunderbird is present, the underwater panther is present as well. And it's not good versus evil. It's a complement. It's the celestial part of us and the part that's underground, but it doesn't mean that it's bad. We plant our seeds in the ground. We depend on earth to survive. And that's what that represents. So I just wanted to share that.
Can I ask your son's name?
My son's name is Daniel Youngbear Brown,
Cool.
and he's a prolific beadwork artist.
We'll have
I
to
think
see if
I
he has
always tell him-
Instagram.
Oh, I always tell him that he's, gone above and beyond wherever I'm at. He just took it to the next level.
Excellent.
But yeah, that's a really beautiful knife sheath. I'd love to see it up close. I mean, to touch it and really look at it, smell it, everything. All right, I think we better move on. Just want to touch on the German silver
Yep.
a little bit.
I was surprised that you all had a practice of doing German silver.
It was short. That's what I want to say.
Hmm.
We don't currently have anybody that's doing German silver or any kind of silver work here on the settlement at this time. I believe my cousin Pat Trujillo is a skilled silversmith, but she hasn't brought me anything yet. So I'm just kind of waiting.
I'm trying to get it so that I don't have too much glare on this, but this is,
Oh, I just love that.
and it's hard to get. Let's see.
And is that
Abalone.
shell? Is that abalone or
That's-
abalone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
abalone. They used to incorporate abalone shell in our silver work because it was accessible through the riverbank.
Oh, I've never
So
heard
they
of
were
that.
able to make earrings and rings and bracelets. And I do, can you get me that box over there? That silver box? I do have a couple of pieces I can share. I could give you an example of what we had here.
Yeah.
Mostly, I think it was made just to sell during powwows or at fairs locally. And it was, a lot of it was like this, where you see it's stamped Iowa.
That's great.
That's cool.
Yeah, and we also have something like this, which does, I think it's a bolo tie slider. It
Oh,
has
that's
that Thunderbird on there.
Awesome.
And we did have a couple of silversmiths. Their names were Horace Whitebreast and Pete Morgan. There were a couple more, but there's not a lot of work that remains. And the work that we have, there's no names attributed to any of them.
yeah.
So this is kind of lost within our community at this time. I'm always hopeful that somebody will start making some jewelry.
Well,
I'm looking at that.
they'll always have collectors if you make jewelry.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the little ring that you wanted to look at too.
Oh, that ring
I
is
love-
just
That's pretty. You can really
gorgeous.
see the abalone.
Yeah, that
Abalone.
one's showing through a little bit better, huh? And then
That's nice. Yeah, so this, just the little stampings on there, that's as much as you'd see the silver work embellished.
yeah.
And it really, that's all it needed. But I really like that little angle of the abalone on there.
Right? It's there we go. It's such a great design. It's so
It
simple,
is.
but it really stands out.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
And I'm sure that whoever made it, just thought, well, I'm going to do this, without really planning it out.
You can see a little bit on this side, some more of the stamping. It's almost completely worn on the other side.
Oh, gosh. I just love that.
I love this piece too. Both of these I think are so beautiful. And I love on the bracelet, it's got a little copper wire. That's the clasp.
Oh,
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
On
Is
this,
it really
we have one here.
On and off. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I was like, it's sort of, yeah.
On this one, it looks like, let me see if I can get this off. Yeah, it opens up on the side. Let's see, there's a little,
Oh, neat.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. Old timey.
yeah. They were pretty smart. Yeah, so that was that bracelet.
Oh, that's great. And that's abalone in the
Yeah.
center? as well?
I don't think I've ever seen anything but abalone except for maybe just little pieces of turquoise.
Oh,
Hmm.
nice.
We have a collection that has that type of jewelry.
Yeah, and I wish that we had more information on these pieces, and it's like your collection as well. We don't know who the maker was. I feel like there's a real resonance between these two pieces, but
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, because of the simplicity,
yeah.
and it's just really gorgeous. I think they probably were made by the same person. I would
That's
like to
what
think so anyway.
Yeah, me too. Exactly.
All right. Well, I think time is going by pretty fast.
We're doing great though. We're good. I can't remember what you were saying. I'm sorry. Do you want to talk about the shirt or the bowl?
Let's touch on the bowl right now.
Perfect. Excellent.
Do you have it?
I have it.
Okay. Yeah, this is a set that was made by Art Blackcloud, and he was a really prolific wood carver in our tribe. And he was the teacher for our current wood carver, who is Luke Capello. And I believe that these ceremonial bowls were usually harvested through tree burls, the bumps on the trees.
Yeah. What kind of wood do you is typically used? Because we have wood. So
It could be elm, it could be, it's usually a harder wood, oak.
mm,
And we have mostly hardwoods here on the settlement.
mm. Which makes it even more impressive. I mean, this is some of, again, I wish this was one of the pieces that you could be holding yourself in person. It's so smooth. Like the surface of this bowl it's
It's soft and velvety.
so soft. It almost doesn't feel like wood.
Yeah, that's how they are. But
Yeah.
after they use them during ceremonies, they build up a finish on them, a patina, and it's going to be kind of oily and dark. So that wouldn't stay that color.
Right.
And the same with the spoons. And sometimes the spoons have the effigies of clans on the ends.
Mm.
The handles will have a fox or a bear or a bird. It can really get creative and embellish these handles. And I hesitate to bring any out from our collection because I just don't feel that I want to take them out of where they are. Their storage areas. They're really beautiful.
And this
And
bowl, oh, sorry, Mary. Go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
I was just gonna say that this bowl was made for Ted to purchase it by Art Blackcloud in 1989. So
So Art Blackcloud, that was probably one of the last things that he made then.
wow.
And he was very prolific, and he didn't take himself too seriously, which is kind of hard to find sometimes with the people that create these things.
Yeah.
But we have his protege, Luke Capello, was making bowls and spoons. And we actually had a traditional arts workshop before the pandemic struck. And they had a class for making wooden bowls and spoons. So that's something that I'm really hopeful will be able to pass on, because these are the things that we use when we pass away or whenever we have ceremony. They have an important part in our lives. Okay. And let's go to the beaded shirt.
I'm so thrilled that you wanted to speak about this shirt. I will say it was packed away and I hadn't seen it in person until this summer when we pulled it out to put it out, because our collections manager, Samantha Tracy, and we had an intern at the time, chose it to share with the public. And I just think that it is so beautiful.
It is. It's stunning. Almost makes me want to cry. Whenever I see something like this, it's just moving. Oh my God. I couldn't wait to see the back, and now I'm just blown away. Oh my God. That's gorgeous. And this really touches on abstract floral designs. And whoever made this really loved somebody. It's just beautiful. Ooh.
And I know we were saying in our conversation that we have it dated as 1910, but you were thinking it's probably later. And I think I agree.
I mean, I'm just looking at the beads and the colors that are used, and I'm just thinking it has to be older. And I didn't even see that they were bugle beads in there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make Pat look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are all the designs filled in with bugle beads?
No. Here, let me.
Because that's kind of dangerous.
The back, so this is the central
Oh,
pattern in
God.
the back. That's not. So let me see if I can
Okay, yeah.
get it a little bit.
Those are
better.
seed beads.
Yeah. Can you see that? Okay. I know that
Yeah,
I'm getting a bunch
yeah.
of there, I feel like.
That's beautiful. Is it on velvet?
Yes.
Mm.
And it's this really dark blue.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like the cut of the shirt too.
Ew.
It's almost cut like an Indian shirt, like a Meskwaki traditional blouse, except for the cuffs.
Yeah.
That would have gathers on it. But is that sequins on the ends of the sleeve? Or is it beads?
It's beads. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah. So it's a combination of bugle beads
Yeah.
and seed beads.
Yes.
Nice. That's a brave woman. Yeah,
Bugle beads are more likely to break. Is that why?
well, the bugle beads tend to cut the thread,
Mm.
and it might not cut it right away, but eventually it's going to cut through.
Interesting.
Beads on either, the seed beads on either end, it's gonna last longer.
Yeah,
As long as it's not bent.
yeah. And Pat was saying as long as the seed beads are on either end, it'll last longer,
Right.
which is true.
I'm looking to see, I don't think there's any, which is interesting to think about its age and maybe how much it was worn, but there's not much bead loss on this. There aren't too many spots where beads have disappeared.
Oh my God, that's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if you can see inside, you can see some of the stitching if I can get it.
oh yeah. The stitching
I
is
need
almost as
working.
beautiful as the other side.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that it's as old as it's dated.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'd want to say maybe 1950s for
Mm.
bugle beads.
Mm.
Yeah, and I don't even, there wasn't too much even in the 1940s, but that's my guess.
I don't know, I've seen bugle beads on French bags,
Oh,
not real long, like half the size of our bugle beads today. But I've seen them on bugle beads on bags from France, from
Like
about
from
the 20s.
From the
I'm
20s, I was gonna say from like the
Yeah.
20s, 30s.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that is so clean and it doesn't look like it's had very much use or wear. It's beautiful.
You were
And-
saying it would have
Yeah.
likely been accompanied with a skirt.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that if there was a beaded top that beaded, it would have had a matching skirt to go with it.
Yeah.
So there's a skirt out there.
Yeah, somebody find that skirt.
Somebody's running around without a top.
Yeah.
Topper. That is so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so you might have noticed that I put my little beaded vest on, and I did it to to go along with the beaded shirt that you're showing. And I just wanted to say that I'm going to take it off so you can see it a little bit better. That I started this vest during an art residency at the Denver Art Museum. And I wanted to do it because the beaded vest for the women was something that hasn't been done for a long time, probably since the 1940s, 50s. Women just didn't have them or they didn't use them. And so I made this. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I incorporated, you know, contemporary colors, but I wanted to keep the design elements Meskwaki. And so that's why I have all this vining on it. It's something that was typical in a lot of the older beadwork. And so I made this, I guess, as a tribute to the women in my past, my history, my family history. Like I said, I have grandmothers that beaded. Some of the beadwork, I think that shirt that you have may have been beaded by one of my great grandmothers. Her name was Nina Young Bear Roberts, and she was a prolific artist, although she wouldn't consider herself as an artist. And I wish that, I guess, I wanted to do this type of work, and I've been trying to do this type of work to encourage and hopefully inspire our younger generation to embrace where they come from, embrace their history, and, you know, not borrow from other tribes so much, and not be so pan-native, because what we have here is significant and it's worth keeping, and it's worth investing in. Invest your time, invest your heart, and research your past, research your history, see what your grandmothers did or your grandfathers, and bring that into your lives, because it's beautiful. And I'm just so very happy, and I'm just proud that I'm in a position where I can continue learning about my own people. And I don't know what else you want to talk about. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, let's open it up for questions.
I was ready to say goodbye.
So folks can unmute. Anyone can unmute if you have any questions or comments.
I just had a comment. I just want to say thank you, Mary, for sharing. My name's Neven Southall. I'm Ojibwe from Ontario. And a lot of the stuff you're showing, there's a lot of cultural parallels with what we have too. And I feel like I learned a lot, and it was really great to hear your perspective. And, you know, I have a friend in Iowa, and if I am out that way, I might want to say hello.
Well, stop in. I'm here. I'm even here on weekends sometimes. This is my home away from home. So please come and stop and visit.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, hearing you and was it Renee, I believe? Hearing you both like talk about stuff. So good. I love like the older cultural stuff. Like I love things from the 1800s and 1700s and, you know, early 1900s too. So it's really wonderful to hear the work that you all are doing, you know, to keep this continuing and going.
Thank you. And I really want to shout out to Renee for her perspective and input and sharing, because if you want to learn about weaving, any kind of plant fiber or weaving in general, she's like the one. She's the one that you want to refer to. She's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how closely connected we are so far apart, because although the Meskwaki are in Iowa and the only people, that history in itself is absolutely amazing story of resiliency. And Mrs. Bill Leaf and Mary Neal, those weavers that came from Meskwaki, Tama, Iowa, those women are some of the best documented basswood or bulrush fiber artists ever. And Pearl, Mrs. Bill Leaf's daughter, translated for Mrs. Bill Leaf. That's her only English name. But her history alone is an amazing story about how the Meskwaki people came to be where they are in Tama and how they changed the Iowan landscape forever. They brought seeds with them from the woodlands. It's an amazing story. And it's all right there with Mary Youngbear in her facility. It's well worth a stop to come and witness some of that history firsthand. So I'm very pleased to have been able to stop in for a second and say hi to y'all.
Oh, it's so good to see you, Renee. I miss you.
Yeah,
I miss your crew.
She's in here.
Oh, I saw her little
Hi,
hand. Is there any other questions?
Hi, this is Tawny.
Hey.
Tawny Growing Thunder. I just wanted to say hi. It's been a while since we visited. Hi. We got Gaga and Monk sitting here. Monk said, hi, Coco Pat.
Hey, baby.
Yeah, she's learning, just sitting here, watching. She heard y'all talking. She came in the room, sat on the floor, and so that's how we expect it to be. But just wanted to say hi, and we miss y'all. I want to cry too.
It's so good to hear your voice. Pat's
Be
gonna
safe.
cry.
Cool.
I've totally
safe.
muted myself, but Tawny's giving a talk this evening, if you can handle more Zoom with hyperallergic. So that should be really fun.
Ooh, hyperallergic. Cool.
And Mary, you had mentioned WikiUps at the beginning, and you're working on a project to create a WikiUp, aren't you?
Oh yeah,
the
this has been an ongoing process for us. We're trying to learn how to make all the things that will build a WikiUp. It's been a long time since there's been a cattail mat covered WikiUp on the Meskwaki settlement. I can remember seeing it when I was younger, but
Wow.
The 60s.
yeah,
60s.
60.
Wow.
But for some reason, the women just quit making them. And so this has been an ongoing project for a small group of us. And that's how we ended up imposing ourselves on Renee Dillard. And we've also had a lot of help from Kickapoo women in Oklahoma.
Oh, cool.
And some of those women go back and forth between Mexico and Oklahoma, but they came here and they showed us how to build a cattail mat and all the elements that go with it. And like Renee, and like a lot of other tribes, there's a lot of protocols that go with it, a lot of rules and prayer and offerings that go with that. So we are still in the process. We are working on making the cordage that goes with the weaving. And hopefully this year might be the year we actually get to build a WikiUp.
That would be great.
And it is my dream to see these cattail mat covered WikiUps all over the settlement, even if it's just a couple. But in time, I hope it's a more common sight. But thank you for reminding me. I did want to mention that. sitting on this side, I forget things.
Well, there's a lot. Do we have other questions from the audience? Is it dinner time for everyone?
I guess. Sun's going down over here.
Yeah, time's a wasting.
I have one. Hi, Mary. My name is Samantha Tracy. I'm the collections manager at the Coe. And I just want to say thank you so much, Akehet and Saga, for sharing all the information you've had on these pieces. I get to see them and work with them every day. So all your information is very valuable and I appreciate you for speaking on them. Thank you very much. And hi, Pat.
Hey there. How you doing?
Good. It was good to see
Good.
you in the back. So
I know.
thank you again, though. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sam.
And we'll have to work on those moccasins sometime and really kind of break it down more.
No, that'd be great. Yeah. And I'd
Yeah.
love for you to be in our collection too, come and visit. So
Yeah, I would
one of
love
these
to
days.
do that. Me
We'll
and
be
Pat.
down there. We'll
Yeah,
be
you and Pat.
over the summer.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to talk about my tribe a little bit, talk about my people and some of the things that that we're dealing with here. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mary. It's just been such an incredible honor being able to share this time with you and share these pieces with you. And really, I can't wait. It's time for some road trips. We'll do some excursions.
Yeah.
hopefully soon.
All right.
Well, y'all take care and stay safe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey,
Bye.
Everybody.
See you. Hey, Tom.
Yes, I miss Atom. Boo-hoo.